Well, as you've no doubt gathered from those figures, the latest attempt to calm world financial markets has apparently failed. Investors are ramming home the point that they want to see action from political leaders on Greece, not just words. However, renewed talk of interest rate cuts from the European Central Bank has helped European stock markets open higher tonight. Gold continues to take a beating while the Australian dollar is staying well below parity with the greenback. Phil Lasker reports.
No matter where in the world investors might be, they're experiencing the same nightmare.
We have to understand this is a debt crisis. It's not a traditional cyclical recession where you just turn on the money taps. You've got to deal with the debts.
But equity markets in Asia and Australia continued falling, unconvinced leaders are dealing with the debt.
During the weekend meetings, actually, there has not been any concrete measures to try to improve the debt situation in Europe.
I suspect over the next several weeks, as we lead up to the G20 meeting in early November, financial markets will put further pressure on politicians.
As the International Monetary Fund met in Washington, there were reports that policymakers might orchestrate a partial Greek default while keeping it in the euro.
The central question is, can the rest of Europe be ring-fenced? And the discussions that we saw in the G20 in Washington suggest that European politicians are finally coming to grips with the essential need to ring-fence the rest of Europe in the event that Greece defaults.
That means protection for the banks and economies most exposed to Greece.
The market has set a target of 2 to 3 trillion for the funding of the European banking system bailout. If politicians walk away from that target and suggest that it is necessary to come up with a significant funding program, we could see a major correction in equity markets off the back of that. I'm not predicting that, but if politicians decide to play chicken with the market, we could see a major correction.
As Europe goes through hell, it was heaven for Treasurer Wayne Swan as he collected his world title, with a message from the sponsors Euromoney magazine to the knockers.
Was Steve Waugh a great captain of Australia, or was he lucky that he had some of the finest players of all time available to his team? The answer, of course, is both.
Later, the Treasurer tried to play a straight bat to questions about returning the budget to surplus by 2012-13.
We're determined to do that, but common sense says that conditions have changed and that task gets more difficult because of global economic conditions.
And global economic conditions could see bank funding costs rise, but one of Australia's major lenders says borrowers need not worry about higher rates this year at least.
We can last several months, so we have made sure that we're in a very good position from that perspective. So we wouldn't have to do any funding this year because of the pre-funding that we've already done.
That's at least one less problem for some borrowers.